Hello, my absolutely beautiful astrology soulmates. It's me, Stormie Grace, and welcome to your weekly horoscope for the week of April 1st. First of all, happy April, happy new month. We're bringing a little bit of new energy into our world, but we definitely want to be aware of what's going on in the cosmic sky this week as well. So what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to go through every single day and break down the aspects and the energy that are happening that day so that you can be empowered to use that, to work with that, to maybe see what's coming a little bit ahead of you and make yourself or set yourself up for some different choices and decisions you'd like to make to inform your week. So if that is content that you are interested in, I would love for you to subscribe. I would definitely love for you to not just subscribe, but to join our community here. This is the Soulmate Family Tribe. It is a community of absolutely beautiful people, really helpful, talking about life, talking about astrology. And when I can't answer a comment or something like that, someone jumps into the chat and it's like everybody's helping and working out together. It's a beautiful place to be. So if you need some help with life, with direction, you want a little encouragement, you want to laugh sometimes, you want to be like, what the hell is Mercury Retrograde? You know, whatever you're doing, if you want to involve astrology, come do it right here with us. We'd love to have you. All right, so before we jump in, if we haven't met, I am Stormie Grace, and I'm a practicing professional astrologer, and I work with Western tropical astrology. I am an evolutionary and a humanistic astrologer, so you need to know that if we're going to engage and interact here. And if you want to know more about that, you can click in the description box down below, check out my About Me page, and see what I'm about and what I've got going on. You can also, while you're in that description box down below, take advantage of the specials that are going on from my offerings and courses that I have. If you want more guidance, more direction, more astrology, it's all in the description box down below. Now, I do want to tell you before we start, the YouTube 5-day challenge that is live. It's a live 5-day challenge we do to get you making YouTube videos. If this is where you're at in your life and you're ready to bring that to the surface, we kick off at the end of April. So join, jump in. It is a limited class because I give you live feedback. We are together. So if you're interested in that, everything's in the description box down below, okay? All right, beautiful friends. So as we're getting into this week, we are just ahead of the new moon solar eclipse that's going to be happening in Aries. Now, I did make a video about that. I'll put a card here and I'll definitely put a link at the end of this video. You want to check that out because I also broke it down by house for you so that you can check that out. Now, I want to say too, if you're not sure how to find where these things are happening in your chart by house, I want you to check out my video of how to find the active transit in your chart. So I'll make sure their video is down below and in the description box as well, because the best thing you can do is, if you really want to bring this into your life, is move past just the general readings that you're going to get here or on any channel and move actually into what house this is happening in your particular chart, okay? But we're moving into this eclipse time. So the energy, as we're on the table, we're coming in deck this week, the energy is not exactly stable. And if you are very lunar sensitive or you are psychically sensitive, this energy may feel a little wonky, like, whoa, okay, something is definitely happening. And I just want to confirm for you that that's actually pretty normal as we're getting ready to have an eclipse. And it's going to be in a total eclipse that's going to be happening on the 8th, which means that it is a complete reset. It's not you're going to get a little bit of a different perspective or the world gets a little bit of different perspective. It is a complete reset. So the game is going to change for all of us as we get going past the 8th. But before we get there, coming in this week on the 1st, we're coming in with Mercury officially taking the retrograde. Now, Mercury is our planet of communication, thinking, decision-making, networking, how we get things done. It's definitely a very business-savvy planet, and it is getting ready to go retrograde. So essentially, taking a vacation and moving backwards is the analogy that we use here. So this direct benefit of direct communication, clarity, efficiency, things are moving quickly and I like it. You know, technology working really well. These benefits are going to be muted for some time. Now, Mercury retrograde is not the time where you run and hide under a rock. We need it. What's available to us during this Mercury retrograde, because it's in the energy of Aries, is, first of all, whatever house this is falling into your chart, you can go into this housing, this department of life in your chart and say, oh, okay, this is happening in my second house. I need to review my finances. I need to review maybe my pricing, how I price things. I need to review how I receive things in my life, right? So look at where it's happening in the particular housing area for you. But also in the general, what we're looking at when Mercury is retrograde in Aries is we're re-looking at what I want, what I'm willing to fight for. And it's interesting because at this particular time, we've also got the North Node traveling through this vibration of Aries, pulling all of us towards a destiny of really, truly what's next for us. Where does our new identity go and make its way? Plant its sacred garden and tend it and begin it. Where do we make these initiations in our lives and in our world right now? And so there can be this energy, especially as we are traveling through this Mercury retrograde of like, I want to go. This is it. I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to do it. I'm ready to jump. I'm ready to push. And it can be like this burning sensation within the being of like, listen, let me at 'em. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. But also this sense of, I just need to choose. I need to make a decision and just go for it. And during Mercury retrograde, you're kind of asked to review that very direct, let me at 'em decision that you're thinking about making, because what we're granted is a bit of grace to say there's something about this decision that you maybe don't have all of the details of just yet. All of the information is not here. There's been a mistake. Something is potentially a misunderstanding. So you're wanting to use the time between April 1st and the 25th to go back over what you already have. You've gathered a lot of data and a lot of information on a particular project that you want to do, a direction you want to go, who you want to present yourself as, right? So go back over it before you make that huge investment, before you sign that big contract. Just go back over it. Now, 2 things to be thinking about during this Mercury retrograde. 3 things to be thinking about during this Mercury retrograde. First of all, I made a video on the Mercury retrograde, so make sure you check that out. I'll put a link right here, okay? But also, the other thing is that during the retrograde, if you have Mercury retrograde in your chart, in your natal chart, in your progressed chart, maybe you have Mercury retrograde in your solar return chart, all charts you can get from me down below. If you've got Mercury retrograde as a positioning, this is actually a symbol for you that it's time to stop thinking and go ahead and come on out and make that decision, because it's like while the rest of us are running in to have to reconsider, your energy is actually being asked to stop thinking so much and go back out. Communicate, say that thing, ask that question, okay? Now, the third thing is that let's say you've got a big contract that you've got to sign, or you've got a job opportunity, or work has changed for you, or something has changed and you have got to make this decision, sign this contract, make this important agreement right now. It's fine. It's fine. What you do want to do is slow down. Read the information. If you can, get another set of eyes on it, not necessarily because it's wrong, but because you do want to understand the agreement and the engagement that you're taking on. Now, the other thing that I always say with Mercury retrograde contracts is if you sign a contract during Mercury retrograde, just know that down the road, you're going to review some version of it. I want to give you a prime example. My husband was like not happy with his work, right? He just really had not been happy for a little bit, and a new opportunity that seemed perfect came for him, right? And he said, I really want to do this. And this is like early on when we're married, right? And he was like, yeah, you're good at astrology. I love that people love you, but I don't believe in astrology. And I was like, that's fine. Okay, we can still be married. So he wanted to sign this contract, and it was right in the beginning of a Mercury retrograde. And I said, listen, you sign that and that's okay, but what you have to know is that the job is not the job. What's on that paper is not what you're going to be doing when you get there. So it's okay, but we just need to make some space for you to mentally be ready to adjust that this job is not going to be what's actually on that paper. There are some details left out. Something is missing about what's not being said fully. So sure enough, he signs it, moves on in during the Mercury retrograde, takes the job, all of these things. He is there for exactly 3 weeks and went back to his old job because it was very, very different than what it said it was going to be, to the point of violence, okay? Now, that is not going to be everybody's case, but what you do want to know is look back in your life. Where has Mercury been? Where's there been a Mercury retrograde time, even that you've experienced personally, that you can bring into your own somatic experience and say, oh yeah, when Mercury was retrograde, it was like this, without creating fear for yourself, but creating an understanding of, okay, I probably just need to review this, okay? Now, the other thing I do want to come for is everybody's technology. Everybody's technology. Okay, back up everything. Back up your computers. If you do not have a hard drive, this is the time to invest in those things, especially people, if you've been keeping a lot of your documentation like in your computer, online, something like that, please make sure that it is backed up. If you've had research, back up what you have. Computers, phones are crashing left and right all over the world. I've just left the Astrology Mundane conference, which is talking about places all over the world, right? Astrologers from all over the world. And we're doing this conference during the Mercury retrograde, and people's computers are crashing, their phones are crashing. So just really make sure you're paying attention to your technology, which again does not mean to be fearful. It means for the next 3 weeks, make space, okay? Make space and review. All right, other things we've got going on Monday, because it's not just like it's Mercury retrograde, it's the end of the world. That's not it at all. Now, we are going to see on Monday that we have got the moon, the energy that is ruling the day, the emotional tone of how we're getting things done. The moon is actually traveling through the vibration of Capricorn. So as we're here on Monday, yes, we've got our minds pointed backwards or forwards, depending on where Mercury's at in your chart, but the energy is grounded. It's pretty grounded. It's pretty efficient. It's like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get organized? Which isn't that a great question when you're dealing with needing to get yourself together during a Mercury retrograde? What can I do to be emotionally and internally organized, mature, responsible? Where do I need to delegate things because I'm taking on too much? I'm realizing I'm taking on too much. I'm trying to be the boss of everything. So I can surrender something down so that internally I can have my structure and my organization solid enough to begin this week anew, begin with a new energy. Remember, Capricorn is a cardinal feminine energy. So also, what do you need to clear out of your own internal and emotional space or surrender so that you're even in a position to receive, right? How are you doing with receptivity? Capricorn is a feminine energy. It is receptive. So how are you doing with this? Now, something to also consider is that we will see that the moon is going to be in a connection with Mars, who's in Pisces. So this is a really nice sextile, okay? They're working well together. So as the moon and Mars are dancing and in conversation together, it is such a good morning to get things done, because Mars is going to bring that energy, but it's Mars in Pisces energy. It's more of a meditative energy. It's more of a internal spiritual connective strength kind of energy, right? Think about, hold this vision if you can, is where are you able to swim and navigate with precision through your own internal waters that make you so steady or so comfortable or so trusting of moving Mars and Pisces with your intuition or faith that you have energy. You're not managing life thinking so much about how everything has to go. If it's this, it could be better. If it could be this, if just a little tweak over here, it could be better. Where do you have some peace so you can trust your intuition, let things go that you don't need to be controlling, and move and swim through the world, right? Internal, external. Now, the other thing that I think we can consider here is that we've also got the last quarter moon that is happening at 12 degrees of Pisces. Now, I love covering the quartering moons, all of the different phases of the moon. But when we're at the last quarter, it's the time where you are turning away from now. It's time to receive your harvest, right? Receive here on Monday. Receive your harvest of something that you planted seeds of intention. You began something, and you began something January 2nd of 2022 when we had a new moon happening at 12 degrees of Capricorn. So go back into your life. What did you start? You planted something with seeds of intention. You said, I want to go this direction. I don't know exactly what it is or what that thing looks like, but I definitely want to blossom and bloom these things. Now, when we got to October of 2022, not only was it heavy eclipse time, but we also came into a first quarter time. So what you began in January of 2022, in October of 2022, now you were set to take more precise action. You were in a building time. It was like, let that thing go, tear that down. That's the old vision for sure. bring something new in. Maybe people, places, and things that didn't fit the request of the vision you asked for started to fall out of your life around the October timeframe. Now, when we got to July 3rd of 2023, we saw a full moon happening at 11 degrees of Capricorn. So this was the time where some things needed to end. They had to be ended. You had to make acknowledgments or adjustments. Like it was from the vision you set in January of 2022, there was a pivot available for you where it was like, okay, I need to pivot away from these things because that's not it and commit to this new direction to finish this thing. And now as we're here, on the 2nd of April and we're at this first quarter at 12 degrees of Capricorn, go to the housing area of 12 degrees of Capricorn in your chart. This is it. You can bring it to successful culmination. You can put it down now. You can put it down. And sometimes it comes with, we put it down because I've built the thing, Capricorn, and now it's receiving benefits. Now it's a passive income stream making me money. It's a course I was taking and I'm almost through with it, right? There's something steady about it. But also I can bring it to closure because I've done it. I've completed that particular task. So at this particular last quarter moon on Tuesday, I would ask you to make space to offer yourself and energy, on Monday, offer yourself an energy of success, right? There's a lot of little battles. There's a lot of little tasks that we take on when we're alive. And if we forget to look back, we miss the real somatic experience of one, being human, but also how we are winning, what we are doing well in our lives, in our worlds, or where we need to just kind of course correct a little bit. Okay. Now, as we move on and we get into Tuesday, I'm sorry, I think I said Tuesday before, but I mean Monday. But as we get here into Tuesday, we still continue to obviously see the moon traveling through Capricorn. Oh, this is really nice. It's going to come into a nice conversation with Uranus. That's pretty quick. They're going to just have a nice little quick conversation. It'll touch into Jupiter just a little bit too. So it's a little bit more progressive energy on Tuesday where it's like, I feel like I can progress forward. I've had an emotional opening. I'm ready to expand a little bit. So the Tuesday energy is also a place where anytime Uranus gets involved, and Uranus and Jupiter are continuing to travel themselves to get closer and closer together to each other for that conjunction, it's a time where you can be innovative. You can be like, you know what? Maybe I need to use more traditional medicine, or maybe the non-traditional approach that I'm going to try is that I'm going to do something very traditional. I'm going to apply a traditional solution, right? Whatever you need to break out of the emotional stuckness or the solution stuckness. Tuesday is a great day to try to take on a new action. I also want to say too, on Tuesday, when the moon and Uranus come together, I would be a little bit mindful that it's great for a new perspective, but make sure it's an honest perspective of the solution that you need, right? Like if you have this problem over here and somebody's like, if you're like, I have a toothache and somebody is like, oh, I have this great mechanic. And you're like, yeah, I'm just going to be open-minded. No, we don't, unless your mechanic is also a dentist, don't do it, right? So just kind of be mindful to be serious about what you're doing, okay? Now, at the end of the day on Tuesday, we are going to see the moon step into some void of course energy. So bring it in, relax, rest, let yourself come down. A lot of energies going on, bombardment of thoughts. We've still got Pluto in Aquarius, the ones that tell you you're not good enough, imposter syndrome, it's not working out, other people are stupid, okay? All of this bombardment. And then the new ideas of, oh, I bet I could do this. What about this progressive thing? Oh, the earth, right? It's like the thoughts are on fire right now. So give yourself some time at the end of Tuesday rolling into Wednesday to take that rest and to take it seriously. Remember, we always have more time to rest than we honestly give ourselves credit for. Now, later, we're going to see the moon roll into the vibration of Aquarius. So talk about being progressive, open-minded, and flexible, adaptive in our thinking. Then at an emotional level, we move from kind of the seriousness of this Capricorn energy, more traditional solutions, and we move into the innovative vibration of Uranus, where it's like, okay, I do have new ideas. And I love the moon in Aquarius this week because you know that funny phrase where they're like, oh, they have an app for that. And I'm like, yeah, I just keep hearing that, like, Yeah, they have an app for that. So you're like, I'm having trouble losing weight. Are you tracking your calories, right? Well, they have an app for that. You don't have to figure out your macros, put it into the app, right? This is where some of these things can be helpful. And then it's also a support hand in hand of technology can meet holistic medicine, right? Because it's just, what are you eating? Natural, good food, hopefully. And what is that costing you? And we're calculating it in an app. So you get the kind of this innovative insight that is available. Now, the other thing in the Aquarius vibration may be that you're starting to feel a bit more social in general. I want to hang out with people. I want to navigate. I want to see what else is going on in the crowd. I've got this new structure, this new version of me, this new calm, and I feel like I can go out and take on the world and be a part of the world. Now, we're also going to see here on Wednesday, here on the 3rd, that we're going to see that Venus is going to come into a conjunction with Neptune. Now, Neptune is said to be the most amplified octave of Venus. So it's like Venus superpowered, right? But as these two come together, I call them the Bopsy twins, because if something's good, it's like it's so blissful. It's so good. It's so blissful, right? It's such good things. Oh, I can fall in love. The world is perfect. Humans are perfect. It's all perfect, right? It's a very blissful kind of energies, and swimming through the waters of Pisces, this is really, I think, spiritually and intuitively and compassionately and forgivenessly significant to us to be paying attention to, because it gives us this moment where we realize that through release, through the giving of charity, of compassion, through trusting the intuition, we can do what? We can receive. We can forgive old hurts. We can release and surrender past lovers, past debt, past old ideas, old angers. Do you have a particular partnership in your life that's literally been stuck to your spirit in some way? Have you felt misunderstood in how you express love? Have you misunderstood the love language of those around you, right? How do you need to have your cup filled, and how do you need to fill the cup of others? And this is an energy that I feel like is so luxurious in permission to surrender, forgive, and also deliver compassion. Forgive what has been if it needs to be forgiven, release it from your body, and then be able to deliver and live actively through your fingertips, through your words, in a state of compassion. Now, it's also just quite dreamy. Somebody could be floating in. You're just over trying to buy your bananas at the market, and somebody just breezes in, and you are like, what is all of that? Right? And wow, you can literally be taken by what blows in. You know what I mean? You think of those scenes in like K-dramas or dramas in general, and the person blows in and they get a little bit of wind in their hair, and you're just like, it's that. It can be that ethereal. So I would just be watching for that. It's very creative. Create with it. It is the epitome of creative energy. So I would really enjoy that. It's very romantic. So good times, okay? Just enjoy. Just enjoy all of that, please. All right, let's roll ourselves over here. Now we've been romanced to the max here on Wednesday. Now, on Thursday, we are going to see, I love this. Okay, we have got the sun in conjunction now with the north node, which means that it's opposing that south node. Now, when the sun comes together with the north node, remember, the sun is bringing light, heat, life, and vitality. It wants to shine. It is motivated to go in a particular direction, okay? But when the sun comes together with the north node, it's like, what is calling you? What is calling you is right. It is right. That thing that you think that you want to do, you feel like you want to do, even if you're having to struggle, even if you're having to fight through yourself or your own being to understand how to get it to birth itself into reality. Very Aries. What are you having to war a little bit with, right? Even if it's the internal war. That thing is a seed that the universe has planted within you, and it's trying to come to being outside of you. And likely, because this is a north node conjunction, the north node typically brings a person or a teacher into your space who helps you to remember that you are on the right path and to move that thing forward. Remember, the seed that's planted in you, it's starting to blossom and starting to open because someone in the world has called it up and out of you. So now you get this opportunity to see what does the future version of yourself look like doing this thing that you feel motivated to shine and do. Where do you find pleasure in your purpose as you deliver this seed that is blossoming out into the world? But also the sun opposing that south node in Libra. What are you seeing? What have you observed in your world that you have to surrender in order to move forward to the new world? But likely what you're having to surrender, an old story, an old idea, an old relationship. As the nodes work and look to create an integration in the middle, the old story and the new destiny that you're going to move forward, they are intertwined. So if it's, you had a story of not being very good with money, and now you're feeling called towards helping people maybe in some way with finances. Well, you're not going to create a program around just follow this budget and you'll be great. Likely your story of how you were bad with finances will be what integrates how you can help who you're going to help next. And even if it's not helping the world, it's helping in your house or in your home. Right? This point of letting your past be your greatest asset to help you take care of yourself and the universe's kids moving forward has some real potential here. Now, just behind that, we see Venus getting away from Neptune and their little romantic party that they've been getting down with, and moving into the vibration of Aries. And I have Venus in Aries, so shout out to all the Venus and Aries people. And it is a very different experience. When Venus is in Pisces, it's exalted, it's all love, it's all encompassing, right? And then you get into Venus in Aries, and it is like, this is what I would like, right? And the thrill of the chase is on when it comes to Venus getting in Aries. But we want to remember, Venus is not a go-get-it planet. Venus is a powerful, attracting energy. So instead of using Venus in Aries, because it's very easy when Venus is in Aries to be in your romantic relationship, you're like, you do this, right? You can get very like, we're going to be doing it this way. I'm going to clonk you over your head and drag you back to my love lair. And I haven't even asked you if you want to go to the love lair. It can be like that. So you do want to be mindful in partnerships that instead of it just being a very me experience, what you do is you use Venus to initiate what you desire. Aries, I would like this. I would like our relationship to be like this, feel like this. I would like to practice these new skills in my relationship, in my finances, and you get very direct and very clear about what it is that you value and what you would like to have come into your life, because Venus is your attracting energy. So your vibe's attracting your tribe. But with Venus in Aries, you get very clear. You're like, no, I'm not unsure. But what you've also got going this week right here on Thursday is that Mercury is retrograde in Aries as well. So be willing to see where knowing yourself has potentially been something that's been in the way of you actually having what you want. Give some space for a review for that, right? Because if you're saying, I want to have love and I want to have romance in my life, but I know myself and I'm just really too independent. If you're too independent for partnership, that is something for you to look at if what you're asking for is partnership. Right? So we have to look at these dynamics. If you're saying, I really want to have a different relationship with health and fitness, but I know myself and I don't like broccoli. Look at that. Look at that, right? It gives you an opportunity to look at it and to be clear, review what you think you know. Because if you don't like broccoli and you're too independent for partnership, but you're calling these things in, Venus is an attracting energy. It's just going to be very clear and bring you more of, no, I don't actually want to be in partnership and broccoli. Right? So think about that as you're traveling with this Venus and Aries energy to have this experience, because it can be absolutely a wonderful experience. Now, the other thing I was thinking about is when Venus gets here into this Aries energy, because Mars is not yet in Aries just yet, it can also be a time where again the thinking is a little bit cloudy, but the excitement of creation with Venus can be really, really high. So it can get really, really interesting, the kind of art or the kind of music that also gets created, because it's quite an assertive energy. Okay. All right. On Friday, now we've got the moon moved into the vibration of Pisces. It's very Piscean. We've got a very Piscean kind of weekend, I think, going on with the moon traveling for the next couple days in the vibration of Pisces. So as the moon travels in Pisces, first of all, do a little personal check-in, and what's going on in your escape world. Are you escaping with something? Are we escaping with food, drink, TV, distractions, any of these kinds of things? Or have you found a healthy way to create boundaries when you need to have boundaries of health and maintenance? And it doesn't have to be meditation. Not everybody actually likes to meditate. Is it for you? Do you go to the batting cages? Venus and Aries, like, can you see? Like, I'm like, okay, but what do you do to create healthy escapes for yourself? How do you feel like you're doing having boundaries in the world? And when is the last time you've created? You're a creative, beautiful being. You were built to create. We were built to create. So when's the last time you actually created something? Have you created a meal where maybe it's really heavy in minerals, or it's heavy in things that have to do with coming from the sea, or watery things? Are you making a really nice soup that you feel like really fills your soul or the soul of the people around you? What's your relationship with lemon water? This is a very Piscean kind of thing, and it also helps to detox the liver and things like that. So as we're traveling through Pisces, ask yourself these questions for the next few days as you're having that particular exploration. Now, the moon is also here. Okay, it's going to take this moment to conjunct with Mars, who's still in Pisces, and then get ready to pass over it. So, first of all, Moon-Mars connection can make you restless. You can get restless. So I would say on Friday, if you've got this restlessness, this irritability that's kind of coming up as well, first of all, it will pass. It will not last. It will not last. It will pass, but it's very excitable kind of energy. So if if you're having a harder time sleeping, maybe try a little cozy time tea, if you're into that, with lemon, of course. And see if you can't let yourself come down. And other people, if you're awake and you're busy and you're doing things, the other thing to know is that it can cause arguments. It can. You may not be the one picking an argument, but people may feel a bit more argumentative, and it only lasts a few hours, so it will move on, okay? When we get to Saturday, the moon is still continuing to travel here in Pisces, but it's going to be in a nice connection. It'll connect with Jupiter and Uranus here. That's all right. It'll actually, that'll make a nice little combination. So anything you needed to break out of, old ideas, old energy that's maybe you've seen, I need to hold a little bit firmer boundary here, something like that, this could be really helpful to you. I don't know why, but I am just getting the vision that some of you, if you haven't been walking, Saturday is going to be a time to maybe start walking, like something in your system. Your system has not had physical boundary, like you need movement to get something in your physical system going. Now, we're also going to see that Venus is in a really interesting, I'd like to say, sextile to Pluto as we're traveling here on Saturday. So looking at this particular sextile, first of all, it is a sextile, so it's a pocket of opportunity. And so the opportunity is there and you intelligently take action and go to it, okay? But it is Pluto, so there is a fair amount of intensity. There is a fair amount of movement that's going with this. Venus is in Aries, so very powerfully and directly, you are attracting some level of intensity to you. So as the energy is kind of rolling in, here on Saturday, I want to tell you, just remember that you are a conscious flow state, right? Let energy sometimes flow through you, flow around you. Not everything needs your attention. You don't have to go to every argument you've been invited to. You don't have to go to every compliment that you've been invited to either. Right? So sometimes I think that when we're looking at the Venus-Pluto, one of the skills you can really enact here is to listen, because a lot of truth comes up when we're dealing with Pluto. And sometimes it's the truth of what's been hidden. Sometimes it's the truth of what's been feared. Sometimes it's the truth of a passion right? But whatever comes up is transformative. Venus is calling in, and you're taking action with this Plutonian energy, a willingness to transform where Venus in Aries is at in your chart, but you can only do it from the truth, right? So example, let's say that it is in your identity and you're like, I do want partnership in my life. I do want financial security. I do want a different relationship with health and fitness. What needs to shift in me in order to be the vibration of that person that can live like that? What needs to shift in my playmates? Right? If it's, I want to be sober, but I'm still running with people who don't support sobriety. So then how can I bring more sobriety into my life to have an energetic overwhelm to protect me from what's going on with the people who are not yet sober? If I want to have a more spiritual life, but I'm still running with very materialistic people, right? We get to have this opportunity to kind of look at under this energy where I can make plans for powerful transformation in my life. Now, the other thing is that I do think that Pluto and Venus, you might actually feel this energy. You could feel it creeping in a little bit into Friday as well. But the other thing is that intimacy can get really deep with this energy. And I love that for each of us because this is a sextile. It is a soft aspect. So maybe you know your partner differently. And sometimes it's like you've been craving it the entire time. Maybe you know the universe differently. You feel more closely guided, protected, wrapped in security, right? These are wonderful experiences of this particular energy. And sometimes I know thyself a little bit deeper. So whatever this looks like, the ability for connection and intimacy at a deeper level is really here. So I hope that you get to do something enjoyable with that. Okay, on Sunday, bringing us just the day before we're going to have the new moon solar eclipse. First of all, we've got the moon having left that vibration of Pisces, now moving into the energy of Aries and going to come in contact with Venus, who's also in Aries now. Really, really a delicious, energetic Sunday on our hands. Now, as the moon and Venus are both in Aries, we want to remember that they are ruled by Mars. And Mars and Venus came into a new relationship with each other in February. So it has been a reinvented sense of self, what you value, and what you're willing to go after. So I think that Sunday, besides just being a good, like fiery kind of energy that is available, it can be restless, it can be agitated for sure, but it's also an energy that I think you feel bonded, or you feel you're available to feel deeply connected to a new sense of purpose and being, and how you will be able to bring that in. Because remember, we've also still got this vibration of Venus, Pluto, traveling along the North Node, Chiron. They're all still in position. So there is this awakening of self, I think, on Sunday, where it is like, I'm different. I'm different. Like you see yourself. You know, I hold this vision of Sunday of, you know, the movies we watch, like mythology or something like that, or the hero's going on its own journey, right? And you see the hero, and at first he's like young and cute, or she, or whatever, like they're all young and cute, right? And then they go through all of these different seasons of life. And then there becomes this moment where they're reintroduced to the character who is the same character, but in a very different, embodied, deeper, more intimate, next level kind of form. And I think that that's how we come out on Sunday, newly connected to ourselves, to the world in a way that is different, or a real desire to be in that particular space. Now, you do want to remember yet again that as all of this Aries energy gets activated, the ability to be impulsive and impatient is really there. Mercury is still retrograde. Really review what you want to do before you just jump deeply to the action, because sometimes Aries is an initiation energy, and sometimes to initiate a process that we will hold steady in the rest of the year and the rest of our lives comes from deeply being with that burning in our core, to understand it, look at it through the lens of a kaleidoscope, and to know it, be in the familiarity of also being uncomfortable with not fully knowing it just yet before we launch out and absolutely deliver it to the world. So I want to encourage you to deeply bond with the sense of the self, the sense of your body, not just pass this over, not just pass over an experience that is happening for you as well, but to intimately come to that next level with this energy. All right, my absolutely beautiful friends, we've got a lovely week on our hands. It is busy. Make sure you click in the description box down below. Check out all the offers. Go to the timestamps for the different days of the week, as those are all laid out for you. And I look forward to seeing you in the monthly videos. I'll see you next week and all other places that I get to see you on the internet. All right, friends, check out this video next, and I will see you soon. Bye.